Thank you very much, Bárta, to be with us, and thank you very much for your performance in the frame of KoresponDance. It was a big joy to see the performance live and to see the film. And you're, as theatre maker and the author of the performance Pitch, I would love to ask you just a silly question, but what is pitch?
Pitch is the title we chosen for the performance, and I somehow like it because it's very much describing the whole process and the process of searching and not knowing, making mistakes, and finally find something which is of course questionable, but it is there. So pitch in English, has a lot of meanings, and it's covering a lot of fields. So we decided that's the exact also very short title. For us, I think in English it has like 10 meanings, maybe 15. I don't know. But for us, it's mostly the pitch in the music, the half the tone, and which also make a visual how to say, visual sign for us, because it's also a playground. Pitch is you pitch a place, so you mark it somehow. So that's all in somehow. And also it's connected to pitching. You have to. We all know it for those short business talks, management talks, that you pitch something to be capable to say something in very fast way to sell it. So there's a lot of meanings for us hidden in this title, and we don't translate it in Czech. So pitch is for us.
Even the sound of it is great.
It's like a pitch.
Pitch, yes. Yeah, it's a beautiful name. Speaking about all the meanings of this word, and this question, not trying out things, and by the end of the day, by trying out and failing and trying again, you end up with something which is a shape. But what is really interesting in this shape, that is a lot about building and building. Reaching a shape, so achieving something. Can you speak more about this?
First of all, I must say that it was somehow very complicated for me, because it was after a long time I decided to make a song, which is somehow very difficult.
Yes.
And it's sort of I did have an advisor, there was a woman school, and it was great. But the first period I spent just alone in the studio, which was quite confronting, I must say, very confronting. Mostly because I wanted to start talking and less talking, pitching something, producing, talking about myself, trying to whatever. And I didn't find like communicating somehow. I was lost in the text. And then I was lost in the whole theme, because it I had like shreds of sort of inspiration. So the main idea was like based on a lot of ideas actually, and then I started to think about something like a picture, which is slowly changing. So actually from the high speed of talking, or moving or whatever, I start to more go to the sort of this image of something which is like very slowly changing, because this the biggest topic of the performance is the focus, or how to say in English, focus.
Words appear.
Of losing a focus, of losing pozornost, how to say?
Attention.
Attention. Thank you very much. Losing attention. So
we don't lose attention at all.
And that was this sort of this biggest theme of the performance. So I started to sort of search for the motion, and then I find out that the slowness, which is in the beginning of the performance, it's very fitting to the whole piece. And the very first idea was to use a big statue of ice, which is slowly melting.
Mm-hmm.
But then we hit the practical part of having an ice statue which is melting, which is very expensive. To have the ice, to have the big freezer and so on. So then I started to think I have to be the statue, I have to be capable to make this kind of melting. And then came on this idea about the drum kit, which came in. That was weird for me because I'm playing drums myself, but for me to use instrument on stage is still a very big cliché. Or how to say it? It's somehow very known, and it's somehow.
It's not because it's known, it's not necessary for your piece.
Yeah, exactly. And then somehow it is what it is.
Yeah.
So, but then we started to again shift the whole idea that probably you're going to use it as a known picture. Mm-hmm. We all know drum kit, and it is made of all those parts like hi-hat, bass drums, drum. And then again we started to think about this composing that is quite easy to do with drum kit because we all know the shape, and all of a sudden it's something different, and then all of a sudden it's again a drum kit, but from a different point of view. Yeah, and then we get to this. So I don't know if I'm answering the question, but it's like the whole process was made by all those coincidences and changing the idea, not changing the idea, but changing the ways on the way, and then we finally get this. I don't know if I'm answering you.
Interesting.
Somehow we did it like 4 years ago, like we started to work on it. So now it's a bit quite glad that we can play it after not playing it for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's somehow also very funny to
rediscover it.
Rediscover what it is, because it's somehow not actual for us anymore, but it is somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's something which is absolutely marvelous with art piece, that you think you are solving something and you sometimes don't know exactly what you're solving, and you know what you were solving after you did the piece, and after you performed it enough, to say, okay, how much will make this? Yeah. But you know, not only artists are reacting like that, and it's life-changing sometimes.
Totally. But I was also happy to see the backwards on the video. That I was quite happy that it's still working somehow. It's communicating, of course. We thought that.
Yeah.
But maybe people.
I was really interested by the way you are using the time. You were already speaking about the melting, so there is something about shrinking, of course, changing shape, but there's also this kind of continuity. You're working also with really slow motion. You are working with rhythm. What gives you this work with the time? What?
It was very much connected to very inner feeling that I cannot change something.
Mm-hmm.
That's why also this open shout, the silent shouting, is my mouth open,
Yes.
which was very much connected to the attention, losing time in itself that you cannot change, but you still want to. And it's just like dropping down from your hands. So it was just dragged from this whole idea. The first sounds very somehow it's very simple. But I'm very happy that he shows this kind of very simple form.
It's not simple, it's intense.
Yeah, but I have to say I'm still fighting with this sort of this simplicity of the whole thing. I mean, in the way of doing it, you know.
Yeah. And it doesn't bring you another level of understanding. I remember very well doing a very slow thing and having the feeling that you are aware, because of the slowness, of absolutely everything, absolutely as if what is infinite can come from the actual time, because you can open the time. For me, it was a very strong experience, and I could, thanks to this piece, to live it again the same way. It was very strong.
Yeah, it's a different perception. All of a sudden, it means also a very specific way of concentration for the piece. So
as an audience, we can really travel, and we have a lot of imagination which is coming through the whole process, taking a long time. It's a beautiful tool. And then, of course, it happened that you're working with rhythm. That's regularity.
And then this whole chapter is this hitting. It's very provoking people.
Yeah.
We had one piece, performance. Here.
And why the provocation?
Because people see a man standing next to the drums, but he's not playing. So
all the time, yes. Constructing the image.
composing, it still goes through the expectation and attention, because I'm not doing what they actually think I'm doing, you know. So there's no joke of the performance.
Yes.
So there was this lady sitting in the second row, and she was paralyzed by this hitting. So she started to shout.
Yeah.
Started to play. Literally, she started to shout to me, please start to play.
So that's like, what is to cheese?
It was just fantastic.
And the achievement in the shape. Yes, okay.
And this double focus, this split concentration, it's very much connected to the cyberspace, but this whole thing you're living now in, constantly checking something, be here but not be here, you know, we now living in the times of split.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we living somewhere, but we are here, but we not really here, constantly checking something. And so this was very much connected to this whole part of this hitting and doing something and be here but not be, you know, this.
Yeah. And in the film and in the performance, because of this specific experience you had, we also have this continuous sound of the water running regularly through the whole piece, so that you have all this regularity. And you were saying that you had the same for the premiere?
Yeah, we had this opening close to this highway.
Yes.
Which is somehow very similar sound as water, but this was beautiful. This water was such a additional gift, you know, to this whole thing. And I thought it wouldn't be so, because Tino, who made this video? Sorry, Tony actually came up with this idea. He told me, do you hear the water? It's amazing. And I was thinking, the water, it's here, the water.
It's incredible, the film is incredible.
He also put some microphones close to the water, and in the end, it's just it's absolutely great to have this constant, because you don't see it. You don't see the water, but you constantly hear it. But I must say also this location, this whole wall, this stone wall behind, and it somehow all went together.
Yes.
So I'm very happy that we decided to put it outside, not inside.
Yeah, it's that specific project.
Yeah,
Brings, when it's properly chosen, it makes a lot of additional meaning, and I guess that all the audience that's so bit in the ponds, in the castle will remember completely different in this place. So you will have the ding, 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 and I can do music. Thank you. Thank you very much for this. And we'll have the possibility to see again the film, and thank you very much for that. To see pitch again, I hope also in theatres or outdoors. And thank you very much for